Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Channel. The star of today's video has a British passport, a very spirited 3-cylinder engine, and aims to combine sporty performance with neo-retro style. Her name is Triumph Trident 800 and she's just one of the many new arrivals from Hinkley this year.
A simple engine evolution compared to the Trident 660? Not exactly, because there's a lot more than just the engine. There are tweaks to the styling, a more refined suspension setup, and a more advanced technology package, which includes ABS and traction control with cornering function.
If we're talking about style, it's pretty obvious that the Trident 800 keeps the family feeling intact with its smaller sibling, starting with the shape of the tank, which strongly defines its lines, and in a good way too.
However, a few differences give it a sportier edge. The two-piece seat and the side panels on the tail section give the rear area a more street triple-like look, and overall, the bike appears more sporty.
On top of all this, the handlebar is 10 mm wider on each side, which obviously improves leverage, even though the riding position still feels more like a roadster than a street fighter, as it should be. And the seat, however, at just 110 mm from the ground, makes it accessible to anyone.
Undoubtedly, the main protagonist of this evolution is the new 3-cylinder engine with a displacement of 798 cubic centimeters, the same one we've come to know on the Tiger Sport. The power output places it right in the middle of the segment. We're talking about 115 horsepower at 10,750 RPM and a maximum torque of 84 Newton meters at 8,500 RPM. An increase in power of almost 40% compared to the 660 engine. This immediately makes the intentions of the 800 clear. It's no longer an entry-level bike for beginners, but the next step up, capable of satisfying more than just a hint of sporting ambition.
On the topic of chassis, the new Trident 800 relies on a 41 mm upside-down Showa fork with big piston technology adjustable for compression and rebound.
The Showa monoshock, on the other hand, allows for a rear wheel travel of 130 mm and is adjustable for preload and rebound. The braking system has also evolved, now featuring 2 radial front calipers gripping 310 mm discs. This system too is shared with the Tiger Sport. So we're talking about calipers branded Triumph, but manufactured by Kotakwan. Triumph claims a weight of 198 kilograms ready to ride, and that's a true ready to ride weight with 95% of the fuel in the tank.
In short, the Trident 800 hits the market with every intention of climbing the ranks in a segment that, between new arrivals from the East and established European contenders, has become truly crowded. Does it have what it takes to stand out? I'll take it for a spin and try to let you know, but in the meantime, the price could really give it a boost. We're talking about €9,995 dealer price, everything included as standard. The only accessory on the test bike is the heated grips. Here we are, the day is over. Triumph Trident 800. Well, it's been a beautiful day here on the roads of Cyprus, which I had never ridden before. I have to say, if you like riding motorcycles, here in the inland areas there are some great routes where you can really enjoy sporty riding with nice asphalt, so everything's good. The temperature was fine today, but before getting into how the Trident 800 performs, it's useful to understand why this bike was introduced. It's not just a simple upgrade from the Trident 660, but a strategic model for Triumph because, well, it enters a segment, as I mentioned, that is very, very competitive, where it goes up against the Ducati Monster, the Z900, the Yamaha MT-09. In short, a segment that in terms of numbers is obviously strategic. And it's also strategic for the Triumph lineup because the arrival of the Trident 800 actually removes the Street Triple 765R from the catalog. The Street Triple RS remains, as does the RX, the new RX with clip-on handlebars, to currently represent the Street Triple range, but the R, in short, is replaced by this one. And I have to say, in my opinion, it's a pretty sensible move. I'll also explain why. We're looking at a roadster here, not a street fighter. The difference between the two concepts is simply that a street fighter is a bike that comes directly from the sport model. In the case of the Street Triple, from the old Daytona, let's say. It has the headlight assembly not attached to the handlebars as it is here, but fixed directly to the frame. So in that case, we would classify the bike as a street fighter. In this case, we're dealing with a naked bike or a roadster, whichever you prefer to call it, which also means that the riding position is slightly different. For example, there's less weight on the handlebars, the seat is a bit softer, and the riding triangle is a bit more relaxed, even though, let's say, the seat to foot peg distance in this case isn't that great. And those who are taller than me will have a fairly tight knee angle. But the bike is comfortable for everyday riding. I really like the riding triangle also because the handlebar, which is 20 millimeters wider, 10 on each side, offers better leverage. And this is something that benefits the entire riding experience, not just when you're riding in the city, where the bike feels more agile, but also when you're riding through curves. A small windscreen that somewhat recalls the Street Triple family, but it's really compact. Still, it does its job, so it takes a bit of wind off your chest and lets you travel a little more comfortably compared to a completely naked bike. So from this point of view, I have to say that Triumph has done an excellent job. I also really like the seat padding, which has a nice shape. And so in terms of comfort, after a day of riding this bike, you feel less tired compared to a Street Triple. And I think that's a point in favor of the Trident, which is definitely a bike designed exclusively for road use. It doesn't have the track performance ambitions of the Street Triple, legitimate ambitions, by the way, for the Street Triple, so it's more focused on purely road riding. A small thing to point out, the space for your feet is sufficient. Obviously, when you ride on your toes a bit, you do end up touching or hitting the rear foot peg, but honestly, I have to say that in terms of the ergonomic triangle, we're in a good place. I'll add a few more things. The split seat, the tail section, and even the exhaust definitely make this Trident a more mature bike and also a sportier one to look at. In my opinion, the job has been done very, very well. There are still these surfaces that aren't always perfectly joined together, but I have to say that today while riding, I didn't really notice any bothersome contact, so I'd say everything's fine. And the mirrors are also very good. They're large, well positioned, and you get a good view behind you, so they get a thumbs up. Among the things worth mentioning is the lack of adjustment for the clutch lever, which, however, is fairly common in this segment. And since we're talking about comfort, I should mention that there are some vibrations that come through above 8,000 RPM. So when you're already riding fast with the engine revving high. These vibrations are felt a bit through the handlebars and foot pegs, while the seat vibrates very little. The instrumentation, as we know, is in typical Triumph style, very compact, a mix of TFT and LCD, and it has everything you need. I also tried connecting my phone with the Triumph app. Everything was very quick and easy, so I have to say that in the end, for a naked bike, you get all the information you need. There's really nothing to complain about. The only thing worth mentioning is that when you change the riding modes, the selected mode never actually appears on the display. It shows up while you're switching it, but then there's no icon or indicator to tell you whether you're using the rain, road, or sport map. In my opinion, that's something that should be added. And to wrap up, this bike is also equipped with cruise control, a very basic cruise control, meaning that once you're in 6th gear and on the highway, you activate it with the button and use the same button to set your speed. There's no way to adjust, increase, or decrease the speed. Once you've set it, that's the speed you stay at. As I said, it's basic, but still, the bike has it, so it's worth mentioning. Let's move on to the engine, which is definitely the highlight of the bike. I already liked it a lot on the Tiger 800, which we also thoroughly examined in our crossover comparison. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link up here. I like it even more on the Trident 800, which obviously weighing about 10 kilos less than the Tiger can afford to show off a bit more, let's say, in terms of sportiness. With 10 kilos less to push, the engine obviously shows off its performance side even better. The gearing is identical between the two bikes, so we're at about 130 kilometers per hour, 5,600 RPM, and compared to the 660, this engine can run at lower revs because it's always there, always nice and full of torque. It doesn't quite have the low-end punch that the Yamaha 3-cylinder has right now, which obviously has 100 cubic centimeters more. But honestly, guys, we're really close, especially with the sport riding mode. This engine is very lively, very responsive, full of torque, and quick to react to the throttle. In some cases, the very initial throttle opening is a bit aggressive. I'm not talking about an on-off effect, but just a slightly aggressive response. However, when you start riding sportily, I really like this map. Road mode, on the other hand, is the one I preferred in all other situations because the very first response is a bit more subdued, but it still delivers power nicely. As I was saying, the engine doesn't need to rev high to give its best. In the first part of the rev range, so up to 6,000 RPM, it still manages to give you a very convincing push, also assisted by a quick shifter that works really well both when shifting up and down. So, Let's say it really does what it's supposed to do and lives up to the sporty spirit of the Trident 800, which at this point is positioned in direct competition with naked bikes that look even sportier. I'm talking about the Z900, the MT-09, the Monster, and why not even a bit with the KTM Duke 990. Okay, moving on to the chassis, which I really liked, starting with the riding position. As I mentioned, it really helps make the bike very, very agile, but it's also a bike that feels very intuitive to ride fast. What I'd like from the chassis is a bit more balance between the front and rear. Let me explain better. Part of the blame obviously lies with the big piston, which, as you know, is a fork I don't like, especially on naked bikes, and I still don't like it on the Trident either, because on a naked, this big piston doesn't really engage much. So it's a bit stiff, let's say, at the front, which makes it a bit slow to react, and you really feel the bumps. Of course, when you pick up the pace, as this bike allows you to do, that's when the big piston enters its comfort zone and starts to work well. But when you're riding a bit more calmly, the bike always stays a little high. It struggles to compress when you brake without being too aggressive. And this somewhat affects the rear, which instead has a shock absorber that keeps moving around a bit, so it's not very well damped. We're at the minimum preload, which is something I also found on the Daytona, for example, or on the Trident 660. So you can increase the preload, and that's something I would have liked to do today, but I wasn't able to. So increasing the preload on the rear shock a bit, tightening the rebound a little, which can obviously be adjusted, so the hydraulic rebound adjustment, to give a bit more load to the fork. In my opinion, this bike would benefit a lot from that in terms of handling. That said, I really enjoyed riding it. The bike is extremely agile, very easy to use, and it encourages you to ride fast with a great sense of safety and naturalness. This is definitely one of its strengths. It's less physically demanding than a street triple, so it manages to be a more playful bike, if you will, more in the style of the MT-09, to stay on topic, which is definitely its direct competitor. However, I think that balance needs to be fine-tuned a bit by working on the suspension setup. That said, even when you hit sharp bumps like a manhole cover or a speed bump at a pedestrian crossing, the rear shock still tends to transmit a bit of that harsh impact. However, the bike is very, very effective to use, and the Road 6 tires also perform quite well. In my opinion, though, they do not really do justice to the bike's sporty character, and let me explain. I might have chosen a slightly sportier type of tire to position the Trident even closer to the naked bikes it aims to compete with. I'll finish with the brakes, which I really liked. I've already mentioned Kotakwan, but these are branded Triumph. Triumph really knows how to make good brakes. The system is overall quite simple, not particularly exotic, but there's a nice bite, maybe even a bit too much bite on the front. I really like the rear brake. There's plenty of power and the lever never feels stiff. It maintains a consistent travel even when you push it a bit, everything works very well. The rear brake is excellent with only one note. In my opinion, the ABS on the rear is just a bit too intrusive. On the other hand, the traction control works really, really well, and it's set at a fairly high level. Here, you can't adjust the traction control. You can only turn it on or off. However, the preset level is quite high, and when it kicks in, it doesn't cut power for too long. So, overall, I have to say it's good. Approved. I think that's pretty much everything I noted down here from Cyprus about the Trident 800. A bike that, for less than 10,000 euros, definitely offers an interesting package and will position itself within that very, very competitive segment where we'll soon also find the new Monster, which we'll be testing in the coming days, or rather weeks. So it's an interesting bike that makes sense within the Triumph lineup and also within the segment it aims to target, especially considering the price at which it's offered, because the technical package too is of a good standard. It remains to be seen how the market will receive it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, whether you believe this bike can be competitive compared to the models I mentioned in this video. That's all from Cyprus for today's update. I'll see you in the very next video.